Hey, Bobby Manning here, outside Auerbach Center. Celtics practice just wrapped, and they're on to game one. Ime Udoka gave his final speech on the court. Everybody's healthy and ready to go. As we said in our last video, go check that one out for an injury update from practice here. And now it's just about the schemes, the back and forth between these two teams. How the Celtics going to attack that drop defense that the Bucks like to employ, selling out to completely cut off the paint from opponents. Celtics, of course, an offense that likes to get to the paint, downhill, kick out to shooters. They shot just over 35%, mostly what they did all year against the Nets. And defensively, they're obviously going to have their hands full with Giannis as well as Jrue Holiday, who shot 41% during the year. Shooters everywhere. That's what Ime Udoka noticed about the Bucks without Khris Middleton. Said even though Middleton's a shooter himself, they pack even more pure catch-and-shoot three-point guys, whether it's Grayson Allen, Wes Matthews, Bobby Portis getting going, and Brook Lopez, who had a pretty good shooting first round as well. Those guys everywhere. Giannis is going to find them. His assists ramped up in that first round series as the Bulls keyed in on him. And if the Celtics try to do the same, pinching in that lane, he's a guy who we've seen some amazing passing from this year. In fact, earlier this year, I'm going to try to find the clip. He threw the best pass I've ever seen him make to a guy in the corner. No look. Giannis has just ascended when it comes to playmaking, and he has dangerous guys all around him. So the Celtics are going to have to stay home on the shooters, rotate in where they can. Robert Williams is going to be the key on that front, I think, playing off Brook Lopez there. And Grant Williams, check the numbers, had a lot of success guarding Giannis one-on-one. Obviously, Horford, I believe, will be the point man there at first, much like Ime Udoka utilized Blake Griffin in that spot. Horford a little more suited to stay in front of Giannis, especially in the low post situations where strength comes into play. So they have all the personnel they need. Actually going out there and doing it is a different story. Here's what Grant Williams told me on what it's like to guard Giannis.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal competitor. One of those guys who's going to seek out contact and not shy away from it, which is where you kind of give him the respect because as a star player in the league, he doesn't flop. He's not a big time, play the refs guy. He's going to compete with you one way or the other. If you're fouling him, he's going to foul you back. If he's going through, he's going to try and dunk on you. You make him at the rim. He's even not even going to hit you, say, good block. He's just going to keep playing, So it's super exciting to play against him because he takes every single game just as serious as if it was last. And that's something that you are excited to play against every single night.
That's the defensive game plan. On offense, it's going to be all about the spacing, which has gotten better for the Celtics this year, whether it's been movement, whether it's been Jaylen Brown making himself available for Tatum when he gets keyed in on. Brown talked to me today about when he gets double-teamed as well, how the Celtics try to read and react to the different looks that defense is going to throw at them. Much different defense in the Bucks. As I talked about at the beginning of the video here, they lay back. Brook Lopez is going to stand right next to the basket and protect the rim. Giannis is going to play off, let's say, Grant Williams or something to defend the rim. Robert Williams, Al Horford, he'll leave those guys on the perimeter if he has them and get in there to help positions. You look at his numbers, he didn't really guard Brown or Tatum at all this year. 15 possessions against Brown, less than 10 against Tatum, one-on-one matched up. He's rotating in like Robert Williams likes to do. It's going to be sort of Spider-Man's looking in the mirror when it comes to Giannis and Rob, and those two, I'm sure, will meet at the rim a handful of times in this series. You hope Rob's himself, because that could really be a dynamic matchup between those two above-the-rim players in this series. That's going to be thrilling to watch. But shooting, it's key. Horford, Derek White, Grant Williams, Marcus Smart, all those guys are going to have to become catch-and-shoot players. And Jrue Holiday, I'm sure he'll shift away from his primary role on Marcus Smart to go guard Tatum. He did that for nearly 100 possessions during the season, as well as Jaylen Brown. Both those guys, even though he's only 6'3", he can play up to and take out of games, get aggressive against their dribbles. He'll be able to really frustrate those two, I'm sure. So the other guy's going to have to make them pay. That's really the key. And the Celtics have the personnel to do it. They were able to get out there, hit shots, attack mismatches. It won't be as easy against the Bucks, who are bigger. Bobby Portis in that starting lineup. You really have 3 7-footers on the interior, along with some perimeter guys. But Tatum, when he's matched up against Connaughton, Wes Matthews, Grayson Allen, those are still mismatches that he can really get out there and exploit. And against the drop defense, we remember that Philadelphia series in the bubble against Joel Embiid a couple years ago. Tatum, Brown, those guys can bounce around screens and just pull up for threes. That's really where Tatum hurt the Nets most in that series. So they're going to pick their spots. They're going to let it fly. The Bucks are going to dare them to shoot. And Ime Udoka said they're going to have to be ready to do that when it's time. Grant talked about him spacing as well. He's really going to have to be assertive. Let it fly. Convert those shots. That's really the only way you're going to do it against the Bucks. Brown told me still get paint touches. You're not going to just ignore the paint because the Bucks are trying to sell it out. Brown's a big guy when it comes to cracking the lid off of a defense. Basket's hard to come by. The interior is really sealed off. He can force his will in there. And he's going to be the X factor again, I think, in this series, playing off Tatum. I'm almost certain that the Bucks will be keying in on Tatum, trying to double him, rotating in, over-helping on him. Grant told me even Payton Pritchard, when he drives to the rim, is probably going to be met with 4 defenders in this series. So that's what the Celtics are up against. Jump shooting key. Is it a make or miss series? That might be what it comes down to. How are you feeling ahead of game 1? I'm still a little nervous against this Bucks matchup. Giannis, he'll do that to you. And of course, show our sponsor some love, HelloFresh.com. Playoff16/playoff16. HelloFresh.com/playoff16. 16 free meals, 3 free gifts. Go check out my Twitter page and see that masterpiece of a meatloaf and the lemon spaghetti I threw together last night. Tacos, best of all. Among the meals I've tried at HelloFresh so far. But everything's fresh, pre-packaged, laid out for you to go. And show the Garden Report some love. We'll be in Milwaukee in this series. Sponsors like HelloFresh are a big reason why we're able to do that. CLNS Media, Celtics All Access. We'll have coverage of the entire series. And practice, shoot-arounds, all of it here at Auerbach Center. I'm Bobby Manning. See you tomorrow at TD Garden.